are in Soho at the Rowing Blazers flagship store. Let me introduce you to the creative director, founder, Jack Carlson. Thank you for taking the time for an interview.
Thanks for having me.
I want to see your store. Should we just row with it?
Let's do it.
So how did Rowing Blazers come into fruition?
So it started as a side project. I don't come from the world of design or fashion or menswear or apparel at all. I started as an archaeologist, actually, and then I was a member of the U.S. rowing team for a few years. And Rowing Blazers was like my little passion project on the side. And it started with writing a book. This book, actually, called Rowing Blazers. It's a coffee table book. It's about the history of the blazer, and it's about all of these quirky, eccentric, colorful traditions at rowing clubs all over the world. And this was really like a labor of love. This was something I worked on for about 4.5 years as a little side project. The book ended up actually being kind of surprisingly a hit, not just among the rowing community, but among the menswear and fashion communities. I launched the book with Ralph Lauren about 4 years ago, and that was my entree into this world of apparel and fashion. After the book came out, I started turning my attention to really kind of taking the knowledge, the research that I accumulated in creating the book and working on turning it into a brand. Worked on it for a few years, really, as just like a side project. Launched the brand about 1.5 years ago, end of May of 2017. Opened this store about 6 months ago, and it's been a crazy adventure.
So do I have to be on the row team to wear one of these?
No, I think one thing that's been really cool has been seeing how diverse our customer base is. And it's really, when you first hear the name Rowing Blazers, I think people get this idea that it's very preppy. And that certainly is one of our customers. That's certainly part of the brand DNA, but it's by no means all of it. And, we don't like to be pigeonholed into just that category. And one thing that's been really cool, especially since opening the shop over the past 6 months, has been seeing the people who come into the store. And it's like some preppy Upper East Siders, it's finance bros, but it's also, kids coming in here with their skateboards under their arms. It's kids coming in with their Supreme bags or their Stussy bags. We have a real kind of streetwear following as well. Whenever we come out with a new product, which is once or sometimes even twice a week, we're kind of following this streetwear model of doing product drops rather than having like seasonal collections, which I think is kind of an outdated model anyway. One thing that really resonates with a lot of people, no matter what their personal sense of style or taste is that it's very real. There's real authenticity to it. It's not just made up. I was an actual rower, like a lot of people in the brand were. So when you see the name Rowing Blazers, it's actually real. It's not just some kind of bogus kind of vibe that we thought, oh, let's just make a brand around that. And so much of the product is really made in a pretty obsessive, very rigorous way. So all of our blazers, the fit, the construction, a lot of the details are details that went into the original rowing blazers, in the 1800s. When we make polo shirts, it has this satin diagonal stripe that's hand sewn on there, which is how polo jerseys used to be made 50, 100 years ago. So a lot of these little details, I think resonate with people, whether they're preppies, whether they're skaters, whether they have no idea about anything in fashion at all. But the idea of something being real, being authentic, I think really resonates with people.
So you release a new product every week? That's really hard. How do you know what to release and how do you design it that fast?
Yeah, pretty much every week. It varies a little bit, but sometimes it's twice a week. Sometimes we'll go a couple weeks, but it's kind of following this streetwear model. I think a lot about brands that I think at first blush might seem to be very different from ours, brands like Supreme or Palace, and the way that they're releasing product. And I think it's very smart. I think this kind of old model of having seasonal collections is very outdated. As for what we're actually releasing, we make it up. I have no background in this industry. It's sort of whatever I feel. Sometimes it's whatever is ready. We'll put a bunch of things into production. We'll think that something's going to be ready, and the production team will be like, okay, that's actually delayed. This is ready now. And it's like, let's do it now. That's one of the beauties of being primarily direct to consumer, primarily an e-commerce brand, is being able to be a little bit flexible like that, to be honest.
Well, you were made to do this, and your stuff is made in America, right?
So all of our blazers, all of our pants, all of our like Oxford shirts, ties, belts are all made here in New York or in the surrounding area, in Connecticut, New Jersey, Long Island. So it's all made locally. Our rugby shirts are made in Europe for the most part, but it's all like kind of made the right way, and it's all sort of premium sourcing, I guess you'd call it. And it's really important to us that everything is made kind of like the authentic way. So a lot of our rugby shirts, they're made from fabric that's knit in France on like vintage machinery, and that's why we make it there. I think things like that are what make us a little bit different. You know, it's not just the aesthetic, but it's actually how something is made, where it's made, who's making it.
So you mentioned your e-commerce site, which is glorious. I absolutely love it. Do you plan on selling this stuff to people outside the United States?
Yeah, so from our e-commerce site, we ship all over the world, and we have pretty big followings in Europe, in Asia. One place where we've really taken off has been Japan. We do some wholesale in Japan. For the most part, we try to do mostly direct to consumer, but we do some wholesale in Japan, and it's been really kind of funny and interesting to watch the brand really take off there. I think in some ways, like, the brand is better known actually in Japan than it is here in the U.S. Popeye magazine, which is like the big men's magazine in Japan, GQ Japan, Men's Club. These are like this is like the equivalent of GQ Esquire in Japan. I mean, we're in there almost every issue. And we're in some of the biggest stores in Japan. Beams, United Arrows, Journal Standard. Those are like the premier shops.
What is it like having a flagship store here in Soho?
It's been amazing. You know, from the start, the brand was, you know, kind of my vision for the brand was having it be an e-commerce brand, having our website as our kind of portal to the world. We did a pop-up about a year ago that was really successful a few blocks away from here, and that's what kind of planted the seed, a 2-week pop-up. That's what kind of planted the seed to do a much bigger and longer-term store. We opened that pop-up, I think, on a Wednesday at 11 a.m., and there was a line of people outside waiting to get in, which was pretty mind-blowing. I mean, we are not Supreme. We're not like a place where people are necessarily lining up to come in, and that was a pretty amazing thing. So we kind of kept our eye on a few different spaces in the area after that. This happened to open up, and yeah, it's been an amazing experience. One thing that's been really cool to see too is it's really actually helped our e-commerce business. I mean, people come in, whether they buy something in the store or not, they take an Instagram, they tell their friends about it, and it really helps to grow the e-commerce as well. I think it's also just nice, I mean, forget about the whole business side of things, it's just nice to kind of have an HQ here. It's nice to have like we call it a clubhouse because it is kind of like a community gathering area. Like when we have a party, a lot of people from all walks come out for it. People come in here and sit on the couch and do emails and drink a cup of coffee. It's great to just have this physical kind of, you know, portal to the rest of the world where people can come in and really see what the brand is all about in person.
So Jack, any celebrities come to these parties?
Yeah, I mean, we actually have a very organic, like very natural kind of base of celebrity customers from really all kinds of backgrounds. I mean, I don't know if I can talk about everybody, but like, you know, Will Ferrell's been spotted wearing our blazer. Timothy Chalamet was just in here the other day from Call Me by Your Name. Super nice guy. A couple of like the New York Knicks. Jordan Clarkson from the Cavs. A few musicians. Actually, at our first pop-up, Vic Mensa came in. He's been a great customer since then. Ezra Koenig from Vampire Weekend was just wearing one of our rugbies at a show. And this is all like, you know, it just kind of happens organically. Oh, Macklemore. Macklemore is wearing one of our rugbies in a video he just did. Super nice guy. Yeah, it's been a really cool thing that like no one really could have anticipated or expected, and sometimes like we truly don't know how this happened. Like we're like, did someone know this guy? And everyone's like, no. But it's really, really nice. Yeah, it's really, really nice.
You know something's working if celebrities are wearing it.
Yeah, I mean, and something that's nice too is like, I think, I mean, maybe this isn't the best way of putting it, but like a lot of brands, you can tell if a celebrity's like being paid to wear something or do like kind of a bogus like Instagram post or something. I think it's just really nice when it's really natural. Yeah.
So what's in the future for Rowing Blazers?
Well, we have a couple of cool collaborations coming out next year. We have a footwear collaboration coming out with Sperry Topsider, which might not be exactly what you expect. I mean, Sperry's, kind of a preppy brand. They're known for the boat shoe, but we're doing some things that are a little bit unexpected, and I think that will resonate with people who aren't necessarily super preppy also. So I'm really excited about that. And then we have a collaboration coming out with Barber as well, like outerwear, like wax cotton jackets that I'm super, super excited about. And then one thing also, just as we look to the future, is just making more things, like making more of our existing products and adding some new products. But one thing that people run up against all the time now is they go on our site and something's sold out, which is sometimes it's by design, sometimes it's great to do like a little limited edition drop, sometimes it's just like with our rugby shirts in particular, they've proven to be super popular and we literally can't keep up like making enough to meet the demand, but we're working on solutions for that. So that's also something I'm excited about, but some things will still be limited edition too.
I'm really excited too. It feels so good. I love your brand. Thank you so much for taking the time to interview with us today.
It looks great on you.